Hello. Today I would like to vlog about performing and knowing your value as a performer. I decided to vlog today because actually I finished performing earlier this afternoon, which is a very rare situation. I usually perform at night, sometime after 6 p.m. But in this particular case, I ended up being finished by 5 or 5:30, again, which is very rare for me. But for others, you know, it just depends on what kind of situation or what type of music you do. That could be your sense of normal. But anyway, it just made me think about what you cannot undervalue yourself as a performer. Today I happen to have performed in a coffee shop, and even though I'm not completely opposed to performing in coffee shops, I believe I am at a point in my career that I kind of shy away from it as much. The only exceptions that I would probably perform in coffee shops would be the one I'm thinking of in particular, that it also acts as a venue, a music venue. So I also want to talk briefly about the differences. First of all, coffee shops, obviously their main point and purpose is to serve people coffee and pastries and other things like that, and so that they can come in, socialize, they can come in, write. It could be their second office, that kind of thing. So we've got coffee shops. Others, coffee shops that can act as venues later in the evening. So of course, when the business day is done, people are going home, maybe people are stopping in to get a little afternoon snack or dessert or meeting with friends, that kind of thing, where they don't want to go to a bar, they don't want to do happy hour kind of thing. So they're maybe looking for something to do in the afternoon or evening or early evening kind of thing. And then there are what they like to call music venues, which are strictly venues for music, live music. Now, some of these particular venues can also serve as restaurants or dance clubs, that kind of thing, but they are definitely more geared towards live performances. Now, today I played in a coffee shop, actually a brand new coffee shop, and the only reason I performed there this afternoon was for a favor for a friend. Otherwise, I would not have done it, simply because my value as a performer is that I feel like I need a proper amount of time to advertise and a proper compensation, which that's really what I want to cover. In some cases, sometimes coffee shops and open mics, you have to be aware of some of them. There's some exceptions, and I'll cover those in a minute. Coffee shops, they are looking for a way to bring in more people to come and lounge and socialize, which is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. And then they would include or ask to have or want to have live music. Now the problem comes in this: some coffee shops tend to not want to pay for live entertainment. They don't understand what happens in the preparation of live music. You've got to practice, you've got to prepare your set list, you've got to set aside some time to get everything together. You have your equipment, and we know as musicians, our equipment is not cheap. Our time certainly is not taken for granted, I hope. So my advice to people who are not beginners. Now, and I'll cover what a beginner to me is, but not beginners, but you've been doing this for a while and you've, done the circuit enough to realize that I can't keep doing this kind of thing favors for free unless it's for a favor for a friend or something like that. So you need to start setting a flat rate. Think about this. Coffee shops, they make money. I mean, if they're losing money and they seem like maybe they are sinking and they're trying to bring in live music as a last ditch attempt, I'm sorry to say that's not your problem. You provide a service. So you need to set the tone and, establish a flat rate. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it has to be something that they recognize that you are a professional and you provide a service. Obviously, if you didn't provide a service, they wouldn't be asking you in the first place to perform. So you set your flat rate, whatever that is. I would say at the very least, for me, I start off at 75, depending on the venue or how big the place is, between 75 and 100 as a flat rate. Then of course, if you have merch, if you have tips, that kind of thing, especially if you are providing all of the equipment for sound. Now, if there is a sound person there, we all know, or hopefully if you didn't know before, most venues, you have to make sure that the sound person gets paid. Okay. Now, coffee shops, they don't have that kind of setup, so you're the one doing all that kind of work. So that's why you would set up a flat rate, because there's a lot, and I'm sure you know this. And again, this is not necessarily for beginners. There's a lot that comes into setting up a show, getting it ready, making sure that everything is sounding okay, looking okay, and you're ready to perform. Okay, so once you're there at the particular venue, I'm talking mostly about coffee shops, is to be professional. And if you've played several shows before, you know what it means to be professional. I'm not saying you have to be, a tightwad or anything like that, but things like showing up on time, things like making sure you have everything that you need already there. Okay, and definitely not taking advantage of the venue's accommodations, as in, if it's a coffee shop, you don't want to sit there and keep asking for coffee, cookies, treats, and things like that. It's like, you're not there for that. You're there to provide a service. You want to make sure you're professional. Have fun, but don't take advantage of the accommodations in that way. And also make sure you're courteous to everyone that is there. That even includes the staff. They're not there to do your bidding. Okay, they're not there for your service. They work there all the time. In fact, you're a guest in their environment. So yeah, be courteous. And then afterwards, whether you felt like it was a good show or not, and the best of us, we tend to have good shows, bad shows, whatever. Always thank whoever it was that got you there. Thank them for the opportunity, whether you felt good about it or not, because they may know of other people to give you another opportunity. You don't want to burn your bridges in that respect. Also, you don't want to burn your bridges with potential fans either. If they're not listening, again, in a coffee shop situation, they're not there unless there's posters and all this kind of stuff, set up. Again, which I probably will have to do another video about. They're not there for you. They just happen to step in for afternoon coffee or something, or a little treat after work or something like that. So they're not necessarily there for you. They're there to just relax. So make sure you're courteous to them. This might be the first time they get to see somebody like you in a performing situation. this is a chance for you to gain new fans. So you have to be courteous to everyone. Okay? That's just the nature of the game. And I hope that this is not something that is brand new from, you know, hearing from people who are performing out there in the world already. And yeah, so what I do want to say, not just coffee shops when it comes to alternative type venues, coffee shops, I feel that if they are open 7 days a week and they've got a staff, they can afford at least $50 to pay you as a flat rate. And I'm talking, yeah, coffee shops, libraries, museums, art galleries, restaurants. If they're not willing to pay any kind of flat rate at all, then it might not be the best of situations for you. Now, if for some reason, like I said, if the venue is underwater some kind of way and they really need to, you know, conserve their money, ask them for a receipt, and that way you can use that performance as a tax write-off. So you're, you know, donating your time as a performer. So at least maybe you can write it off in taxes. So I'm going to close this up, and thanks for listening. I'll see you later. Bye.